Hello everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In this video I'd like to do a quick review of the USE minis and how they unfolded yesterday, which was Monday, November the 12th. It was actually Veterans Day in the USA, so it was actually a very quiet day. So in our training webinar yesterday morning US time, we were suggesting that it was going to be quite a hard day. So I want to have a look at some of the automatic setups that unfolded yesterday. Let's start with the YM, because this is a good example of the power of position sizing. This is a 3-minute chart of the YM. Early on in the day, no setups, market came down, rallied back up, then started to decline. So let's focus on this decline, because this is where our 3 automatic setups for the day unfolded yesterday. STF was black, stroke blue, therefore we're looking for buy setups. So let's have a look at these. First and foremost, this TS2 setup here, we put the analysis on, would have taken you in. Position sizing kept the initial risk small under control. Worst case scenario here, you would not have brought your stop to break even because you didn't quite reach the 100% initial risk level. So this would have been a -1 hour loss. Let's have a look at this TS3 buy setup here. Again, this one probably would have been a -1 hour loss, even though it just about reached the 100% initial risk level. So let's take a worst case scenario. Again, there are very few gurus who will look at the absolute worst case scenario. So let's assume that this was actually a losing trade as well. You then had a third one here, which actually triggered in, didn't reach its target, then the market closed. So let's see what the profit would have been as of the close of the day there. So let's put the risk reward on at close. There's the close. And the interesting point here is that on the close the profit would have been approximately 1.6 R. So even though it looked on the face of it a really hard day, which it was, we had 2 losing trades and 1 profitable trade. Can you see how the profit at 1.6 R almost made up for the 2 losing trades? So actually you would have had a loss for the day overall, but it had only been 0.4 loss. In other words, less than half an R, 1 risk unit loss. And that's the power of position sizing. So I thought it's important to start today's video looking at the worst case scenario yesterday, where in reality we had 2 losing trades, 1 profit on the 3-minute YM, but the profit would have almost made up for the losses, but not quite. So yes, on the standard MTPredictor trade setups yesterday, it would have been a losing day. And it's important to put these in videos so you all can see that when trading you will have losing days, and that's very important to understand as a professional trader, is that some days there will be losses, but the trick to successful trading in the long term is to keep those losses small, and that's what we do with the correct position sizing there. However, now I'd like to take this upper level and actually have a look at a trade that one of our customers was doing in the webinar at the time we were doing this, and this was on the ES. So let's go down to the 15-minute ES, and this I thought was a very good bit of advanced analysis. So what he did was, if I just put a bit of space on the right hand side here, 400, is as the market was unfolding yesterday, in other words early in the day, the market was starting to decline. Can you see it was starting to decline here? So what he did was went back to the last pivot low, which was here, and he put a decision point support level on that target, also on that off that low, and this gave us a level, but more importantly it gave us a level in advance. So this level was on the chart in advance. So let's just project it out there. There it is. Now if I move forward, you can see the market came down and actually gave us an automatic TS3 buy setup there, which gave him added confidence once he was in the trade. But of course you wouldn't have known that 15-minute setup had been confirmed until after it had been confirmed. So we want to look at things that give you targets in advance, in other words are predictive. So let's now take this down to the 3-minute chart and see what he did. Here's the 3-minute chart. So what he did was, as the market came down into this 15-minute support, this zone here is 15-minute support on our 3-minute chart, he looked at this and said, well, I've actually got a blue buyer's bar here, so let's try and take a long setup. So he was taking a long setup on the 3-minute based on the 15-minute support. His initial target was the DP target, or the DP off the prior little swing down here. So this was his setup there, and he put the risk reward on off that blue buyer's bar, looked at this and thought, yes, that's potentially 3-hour profit, therefore I like the look of that. And when we left the webinar about here, it was actually his trade was starting to go with him. So let's see what happened. Market came down, it didn't hit his stop target, went up, went up, went up, then got to his initial level here. Look down, the STF is strong beyond our strength band, and therefore you could use the ATR stop to trail. If you keep on going up and up and up, it would have been stopped out basically at this level here. So in other words, the same level as the 3.1R. So I thought that was a very good example of an advanced trade yesterday. And again, this was actually highlighted by one of our customers in our trading webinar yesterday. And what he was doing again was using the 15-minute support to get a long trade as the ES rallied. So a very good trade there. Myself, what I prefer to do is if we get a support zone like we did here, I like to look for the initial rally, which was here. I then like to look for the initial correction, which was down here, and then look for this to unfold as an ABC correction, which is our Holy Grail trade setup, and then I look to trade the wave 3 swing off that. Now that didn't unfold on the ES. There's no ABC correction on any time frame going down here, nor did it unfold on the NQ, nor did it unfold on the YM. However, let's just go and look at the Russell Index. So the same kind of setup here. Here's the Russell Index. Let's go to the larger time frame, the 15-minute. Let's put the DP off this prior pivot, which is here. There's the decision point, support zone there. Let's take it out a bit so it's projected into the future. Do you remember this is all done in advance? So there it is out there in the future. Remember, that's done before the market even gets there. That's done before it gets there. And as you can see, the 15-minute chart did come down, make a low at this projected 15-minute support, then rally. On the 3-minute chart, this can be seen nicely. There's our 15-minute support. Market rallies. So what I was looking for now was an initial rally, an initial correction, and then a continued rally. And for this, I had to actually go down to the 1-minute chart, and it's very rare that I do this. The only time I do this is when you actually have a good large degree support, and I want to show you what unfolded. So here was the 15-minute support. Here was the initial rally. Here's the initial rally, but just look at this correction here. This correction here, if we use the Elliott wave tool in MTPredictor, unfolded as an ABC. For me, this looked like a very good potential trade setup. If we now scroll forward, but I'll just zoom out a bit, the market then rallied beautifully off this wave C low here. So again, this is up to here's wave 1, down to here's wave 2. We then look for a wave 3 rally. Wave 3s typically unfold or subdivide into a 5-wave sequence, and just look at this. If we come up to here, we put the Elliott wave pattern on with MTPredictor. There's the high right at that pink zone, which is the typical wave 5 WPT. So off this ABC low here, we got a 5-wave rally right into the typical wave 5 WPT, and that actually was pretty much the high there, nailed up to you perfectly. So if you'd been a really aggressive trader, you could have looked to come off this blue buy bar here, which is the wave C low, up into that typical wave 5 WPT there. So as you can see, it was an absolutely massive Holy Grail trade set up. But it was all set up because of our 15-minute support nailing pretty much the low of the day there, which then got our initial rally and our initial correction here unfolding as an ABC. And that's basically what we look for in our Holy Grail trade setup. But anyway, that was a really advanced look at the move off the low yesterday. So the one I really want to focus on today was the one our customer did, because that's obviously a far better way to look at this, to see what customers actually did rather than ourselves. And again, he was looking at the 15-minute support, a rally just into the initial DP off that high there. So he did a very, very nice trade off the low of the day there into that first support for a nice 3-hour profit. So a very good example there of what our customers are doing in using our MTPredictor tools, particularly our more advanced tools, and it just shows you what some of the more experienced MTPredictor customers can do with the tool set available in MTPredictor.